We're back here, folks, and ready to get things underway in this matchup. GODSENT and Astralis, quite the showing on Inferno for the GODSENT squad. That's going to be quite the feather in the cap, and now they're looking to make it a whole crown here on Nuke. We saw good play from Astralis yesterday. Alan, what are you expecting to see today?
More of the same. That came off the back of a stellar T-side. A-pop is in. There's nobody on the site proper. Got Plopsky up in heaven, but he's just taking some pot shots. Bomb is going to get planted and run for a 10-man after plant. There is a kit in play for GODSENT, so surely they have some procedure here for the retake. They need to use these smokes very craftily to get back on the site.
Gonna be tough to do so. Two flashes as well to get over the lip. Smoking towards... Oh, Squeaky initially. They're not going to go for this. The low smoke out. Now they're over. And straight to Briar. Device 2, 3 big kills. And this is just too much to ask of Track. And he's not got the time. He's not got the kit. He's not got the chances. Might just want to save this armor and get out of here. And I don't think he'll be allowed the chance even to save. Should he want, he will be collected. One way or another. He's going up with the bomb.
Well,
did I secure reward at least?
Yeah, I guess it's nice. You could see that they actually did. That was a fully intentional pistol to retake A. They clearly had a plan to smoke Squeaky and hut and then explode back in on flashes. The idea is nice. I do wonder though if the regular lurk smoke outside of heaven might have helped, or I'm not really sure. It's just the sort of thing I haven't seen play out before. So certainly an interesting idea. Didn't work for GODSENT. And yeah, they're bound down on the pistols now.
But I mean, based on the way the pistols have been going in this series, maybe they're just like, all right, let's just do something unorthodox.
They should just start full ecoing the pistol.
Give us a full chance. I remember. That's an MM strat right there.
Yeah.
Full eco pistol. Buy next. Then save because we have pistols. Buy next. Then force buy negatives for the rest of the half.
Here comes the A-pop. Nades raining over, and there is a grand total of 0 people here on the GODSENT squad. So,
all right, rinse, repeat.
Bit of a dry run.
Surprised they're even going for these fights. Rusty trying to take a little bit of space.
You feel like you insta-pull the rifle, right? I mean, Astralis are not gonna. Astralis are smart enough to know if they're hitting A and they don't see anybody, you're probably gonna be pretty scared of an outer and a radio flank. So they're wise to these tricks.
It's one of these things where if you're going to play a massive gamble like this early on, you kind of have to be ready to lose the gamble and say, GG, go next. And they get caught a little bit in the mid-ground. So 3 bodies down means you're not going to really have a decent buy into the next one. Curious to see what they do with just the pistols. But it's a nice start for Astralis. Nice. It's a little bit of mouthwash, if you will, to get the taste of Inferno out of their mouths.
This is how Inferno started, so I'm not counting any chickens. Counting none. No eggs hatched just yet.
Bok bok.
No nade stack this time. I'm disappointed. That was so much fun on the first map.
You can do it here too, right? Outside is pretty much the answer.
Yeah, it's pretty likely Astralis will go there as well.
They opt for P250s instead, so let's see if the P250s have more impact than an HE would. For my money, I don't think they're going to. Smoke walls outside. If there were 3 nades right here on the red box, boom, round gets interesting. More nade stacks and ecos, folks. That's what I'm trying to get happening.
Well, by the book so far for Astralis. Smokes down, silently cross. You've got 2 lurks. Tends to be the favoured play these days is a 3-2. Means that lobby player can't get quite so badly crunched. Boost on the head. Players down to the double doors stairs side. And they're not going to meet a good deal of resistance because GODSENT are stacking 4 ramp with Draken trying to hold the mini split. Pistol round, Astralis hit A and there was nobody on the site. Second round, Astralis pop A, nobody on the site. Third round, Astralis go down secret and there's nobody on the site.
I think Astralis are loving it. Godsent not so much. Seems like we're going to get explode play in, and shockingly, it's a massacre. It turns out running through choke points, unarmored, unfilled hills, not a recipe for success.
You should write the messages at the bottom as the map loads in.
Yeah. Tool tips.
Mike's top tips. If you stack, commit to the stack. If you have no armor, running through a choke point and a smoke is unadvised.
7-1 is Device early on. He's loving this. Stack those numbers against the Ecos. Now he'll have a little bit more resistance. There's an off on the other side as well. Bonus round for Astralis. Plenty of money to play with, right? So this is really a true bonus.
Might consider an A-pop here with the MAC-10s in play. It can be a little bit hard, I guess, to clear outer, and especially, I don't think you'd go towards a Hell Wrap with that smoke onto Mini and the lockers area. That feels a little bit risky on this sort of weaponry. Especially as Draken as an AWP on play, that could be a little bit troublesome to navigate. Draken's playing ramp, though. And we're getting some aggression. Rusty's on the right-hand side. It's just Zipnik's in the vicinity. See if they choose to push any further.
Don't know if my microphone picked that up, but I just had about a 10-second peal of thunder right here, so about to get interesting.
It's an omen of what's about to come.
But for who? But for who? Who does Mike Zeus support?
We've got some Scandinavian teams. Omen and Four, Odin and Four are chiming in.
Rusty. He's paid his offerings. Said his prayer.
Walked the coals as well. Well, that was a costly ramp take. Some nice control, I guess, for Astralis, but didn't do a great deal. They've already thrown their outer smokes. That's why Draken is playing in secret. So it does peel off a little bit of the defense here on A, but that smoke is so well timed. They're just going to explode through it. They've got no other option.
Gotta go out. There's the first kill found. ZTR takes one. Realizes the player Mini. Support needs to come in here. The rotations need to come in here. Joel on an island. Too many targets to find, but Draken up the vent. Oh my goodness, Plopsky as well. Now they've got control. Now they've got the space, and Draken back on the angle. There's no getting away from this. So 3 players survive. The money can build here for Godsent. It was the bonus round for Astralis, so there's no reason to sound the alarm bells just yet. But it's a pretty good round for Godsent.
Did Draken drop the bomb? Who was it that dropped the bomb? Was it the player top hut?
It must have been Draken when he came out the vent.
Did he? So the bomb was really late. If he was on one of the entry players, I think it goes down and it looks a lot better, but they were just scrambling as it went sub 10 seconds. Because it was still a decent try given the man deficit, but it's been a game of thin margins, and that is a thin angle for Device. Draken, if he had a better spawn, he would have fully crossed Garage before meeting the crosshair of Device. The opposite happens. Device collects a much-needed entry. And now Astralis can pump the brakes and plan out their next assault. There's actually nobody lower covering off the ramp side. ZCR's on the move. They've just cleared out a Godsent. They've got a little bit of information. This is still looking pretty nice for Astralis if they just commit ramp with numbers. And given the bomb is leaning further and further this way.
This is a hot push?
I don't think so. I think they're just boosting Mustang.
Yeah, you're right. That's absolutely what it is. They're getting on the Mustang.
ZTR's coming up secret. They're gambling on a top site heavy hit.
So now the question becomes, do Godsent have the will to not give this a look? Because they really need to be saving. This is even
if Inferno's anything to go by, they're not going to go anywhere near this. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good.
It's a weird round because they give up ramp, and once they lost ramp, the reason they boosted Mustang is that the Mustang player could hold heaven in case Astralis wraps it. So it's one of those things where they give up ramp and they're actually opening up more than one avenue. You go from just the T-sided part of ramp to being scared of players going down the ramp, being scared of a heaven wrap, and then you can't readjust. So really didn't play into GODSENT's favor, and all spirals from Draken going down early, having no information on the outer cross, having, of course, that AWP out of play, and a lot of the sight lines removed. Can't be happening again. That was too big of a loss early on. Alrighty then, bit of a pause. Draken does have... Oh, Mike, did Draken buy... He had a FAMAS a second ago, right?
He had a FAMAS, so
Yeah.
now he's got an op. What's...
There's a FAMAS on the ground.
That's a little
they're so
unfortunate.
lucky that their buy is still fine around it, because a player easily here could have had low nades or lack of a kit or something.
I guess
He got
CTR
away
must
with
have
it.
dropped him the gun.
Yeah, because Draken clearly bought his own AWP.
Yeah. CTR didn't realize he had that financial ability.
It's just a small thing, but it's never a good omen, is it?
No, not great. Can't be wasting $2,000 against this Astralis side. Now I'm beginning to wonder whether it's technical in nature and they just don't know the command.
It's kind of got to be. A little bit of time to talk, though. They might need a little bit of a discussion about how they're moving around mid-round a tad. I think Draken's probably learned his lesson about taking an overzealous peak and fight when he didn't need to.
Reminder as well, the coach for this roster is Golden.
Yeah. True.
An interesting player to have back in the scene, now shifting into the coaching role, right? Was sort of up and down in the eyes of the community in his time in Fnatic and his time in Cloud9 and various rosters.
I think the
Now maybe
reality
coming home
with
coaching.
Golden is that I think very few people were actually critical of his calling. It was just it was a little bit too much of an individual liability. And as the game has progressed and we've moved further and further into an age where everybody has to take responsibility and we have good coaching and we have support staff and we have, you know, now not necessarily an abundance, but now we're breeding more strong mechanically strong in-game leaders that can maintain their own individual form. Golden's place didn't necessarily make as much sense, but there's no reason why he'd be a bad coach. He certainly doesn't come across as the most, let's say, forward and bolsterous personality, but certainly from a strategic perspective, Golden has to be a massive boon to this team. Surely he brings a lot of ideas.
It's kind of reminiscent, perhaps, of the what Exist brings to a Heroic, for example. Obviously, slightly different pedigrees on those two players, but still, the tactical mind. Maybe not so much the raw gameplay, but some aspects of that as well. But experience in game leading can be a massive asset.
I think you can make a very compelling case that Golden would be a better strategic mind, at least based off the information we have than exist.
Interesting.
You would have said that Heroic, what they needed anyway, was just someone who's been through the biggest games. Because at the moment you kind of just got Cadian, and Cadian actually in the absolute biggest games isn't necessarily the most experienced versus at least versus the other, top 5 team in game leaders. Hasn't quite got the same CV.
Oh, the flash through the swing. Rusty gets one. Commits into the angle, 1-for-1 information gain. What do they do to operate off this?
They can't rotate.
Lower.
Or they have to go down vent. A is given, and look at Blame. Look at Blame. He's lurking out hard.
Plopsky gets red. Sip next, looking for it, ready for it. Buzz gonna take contact. Oh, this is the bomb. That's such a hash of it. But they're never gonna expect a second player. And Joel can make good on what ZTR could not. Here's the door open as well. Knows they're coming from the other side. So Joel is gonna be able to focus up. Was wary enough of the player coming out of secret, but he'll take the fight. He'll take the initiative. Flashbang on. It's all to blame. F catches them off. A 1v1. And he has no idea what Draken is. So where does Blame F read this? Draken's got the right idea. If he just trusts his instincts, he's gonna hear it now. He's gonna hear it now. He's scoped up. He's got him. There was no time to spare. Blame F had to sprint towards the site, and Draken took full advantage.
Well adjusted by GODSENT. Blame F just didn't... I don't blame him. Really unexpected that 2 players would go down the vent. And then leave the A bomb site open. He just wasn't aware that he had so much free turf in front of him. Ziminix wins the duel up onto the player boosted ramp, and well, that was super awkward for GODSENT. Thank God they ultimately dropped the bomb there in secret. If those 2 players go down with even trades, it wouldn't have been good enough. Astralis is spending 4 smokes for outer at the start. And is there a gap as well? Unless our minimap's a little bit off. There might even be a gap.
I feel like they must have biffed one of those. It's very weird to see 2 smokes the close side of red box, right?
A top pro doesn't miss that close smoke, surely. Unless a molly catches it, I guess.
Ooh, heck of an entry for Device. And now a player caught in towards the lobby as well. A kill going back the other way, but Draken, he has to do so much here if he's going to keep this in doubt. And trying to face again, trying to catch them off guard. That's just a little bit too much to ask. Zip next will die. This might just set up a gun save.
The little bait and switch there with the spam through the hut. And then his teammate peeks. Buzz needs to win this. He was low HP. ZCR could have made that a doable retake, but now Plopsky wants nothing of this. Bit of a collapse. That ramp entry was an absolute ripper, wasn't it?
Disgusting, yeah.
God. Brutal stuff. They go so fast down the ramp as well. Didn't even have, didn't even pump the brakes to put any nadage onto elbow or hell or whatever you want to call it.
That's one of those quintessential calls of Counter-Strike at any level of play. Ramp, fast. Eye entry. Boom. Device just rocking that first headshot. There's very little you can do. You just immediately lose ramp control into a round.
People forget how proficient he was at his peak on the rifles too.
It was the hybrid.
Yeah. For those that weren't around as long, Device wasn't a main AWPer his whole career. He was actually second or even third AWPer on his teams at some points when they had Carrigan and Cajun.
It's one of the reasons he was always talked about as being, arguably the top 1 player, if not top 3, was because of his ability to do it all, as opposed to a Deddy AWPer or a Deddy Rifler.
He's very much like the Zywoo and Simple of today. They just AWP because it's the most effective way to play. Not that they couldn't rifle, and certainly for both of Simple and Zywoo, if they had another player from their region on their team that was even close to their level of warping, there is definitely a world where they would be riflers.
I think Joel may have seen Blame F get out here. I think he may have just spotted him. So can Joel take advantage of that? That's the play he's trying to make, but he can't land a shot. Nice bit of positioning, cheeky bit of play. He's going to call Plopsky in to get the kill, so there we go. They still take out Blame F. That's an extra gun down on the ground.
Yeah, and the bomb's nowhere near a site here, so there can still be a lot more to this round. It's Joel on the lower site, and why did he actually see him?
No, I don't even... maybe?
I don't think he did he? He was on the other side of the wall.
I think it was just a rando shot, and a really good one at that. Device not missing much right now. My goodness. Looking like that guy. Bomb will be down. Plopsky, you'd imagine, is just going to try and save what he's got, because he's got quite a lot. Joel, I think, can maybe go back and retrieve that Blame F gun. They'll see if they can't take these 2 rifles in the next round.
Starting to see a different Astralis, aren't we? Versus Inferno.
There it is. Okay, come on. Come on, Joel.
Even when they slip up on this map, they seem to have so many contingencies. And yes, they lost that 1 round to dropping the bomb in secret, but that's going to happen sometimes. And they still made the round very compelling. Still went 1-on-1 ultimately. And here, it's a pretty good cleanup in the end, considering they lost a player early, and that man was very much on his own. Here we go then, GODSENT. You got to make a decent CT half out of this. It's been a troublesome few rounds. We're giving up a lot of ground on outer. We're getting pushed around. We're being forced to make difficult decisions, only one of which really has gone their way. Of course, their answer on Inferno, wasn't it, when stuff was going wrong on the defense, was to amp up the aggression quite significantly with some aggressive setups and takes and sieges of map control. So we'll see if they've got any similar options here on Nuke.
Players down vent made noise in doing so, so they're going to know about it, but what can they do about it? No one's rotating down to address it just yet.
So we're getting a full lobby clear. Zimnix is playing a long way out. He's just jiggling from the back. Did he spot ZTR? He looks like he's taking a more passive line. Oof. Shots exchanged. Information now over to Astralis. They'll understand that lobby has been seeded, so it's not too bad a spot. And their hunch is that outer is lesser defended. They want some space in return.
This is interesting. Into the angles. Oh, bomb is very risky here. It's dropped in the open. What kind of util do they have to get this back? Ooh, one more smoke, some flashes. This is going to be tough now. This is going to be really tough. The CT smoke, oddly, I think helps them out. But Draken wants to play around it. He's very paranoid about being pressured.
And
if he committed a little more to that bomb fight, that could have been huge. That could have been the defining moment. But he's so wary of Buzz potentially punishing that now they've recovered it. Now they've slipped down lower. Now you've really
it's actually not that bad, is it? I mean, it's a 3-on-1. They've somehow engineered a 3-on-1 out of this scenario. There's a lot of pressure on Rusty to at least get 1 or 2 kills.
And he's not going to do any of that. So this round should be over. That is really frustrating if you're GODSENT. You were handed a golden opportunity, a golden ticket into this round, and Draken's not even going to be able to save this AWP, maybe? He's calling for support just to save the gun. He's calling for a teammate just to save the gun, and it's going to cost ZTR his life as well. Buzz not doing such a good job of harassing, and he'll take the op out of play. So, that's
a catastrophe. That is
really?
They've gone from a man advantage to losing the round and not being able to buy likely in the following. Oh,
I think that has to be cited as the timidity to not fight outside. That's you're so wary of making the mistake that costs you the round that you never try and win it.
I think given the information we have now from 2 CT sides, they definitely have a problem with transferring information between the players and making the appropriate adjustment in terms of their rotates and where they're loading up players. Because we saw the same on Inferno, where we've got similar situations where they seemingly have every piece of information imaginable, and we're still allowing Astralis, especially from deficits, to engineer a good fight. And I know Rusty went down there immediately, but he is left out to dry. He's got no health. And he was always going to get split from multiple directions, so GODSENT need to adjust something about how they rotate. It might be the communication, but if they can tweak any of it on the fly, it would do them a lot of good.
Well, this one's looking all right, but the recovery is here. Draken now taking the initiative onto the rifle instead of the AWP. He finds his moment to shine. Blame F. Pick up the off, but he's being pinched upon. He may not realize it. Straight into the waiting arms of Plopski. Just Buzz. Young gun. See if he can create some buzz in this round. See if he can bring the beat back in. Giving him nothing right now. Hut's open.
Is Draken open to Hut?
Yeah. He's knife out? Why is he knife out? Alan, why is he knife out? Okay. All right. This round's not done yet. 50 seconds is plenty of time. Rusty's gone into heaven to try and get this kill, but he's not even facing.
Buzz is going to get one-on-ones here.
This is terrifying. Rusty will find the moment to bring that one back through, but that very touch and go towards the end.
Handing a little bit too much over. A little bit too much. Just seemed on ramp there that GODSENT had endless reinforcements. The first player actually lost the fight. ZTL was getting baited in by his teammate. He lost the fight onto Zipex. He has not had a good game. But fortunately, Draken, presumably somewhere around Heaven Hell Lockers, managed to just about get on location. So that time the rotates were thick and fast, and it looks good. That's why they're throwing a second smoke, Mike. Now we can see. Oh no! He didn't catch the molly. Oh, big gap. There's a really big gap here.
Yeah. Okay. Buzz somehow is through this gauntlet. Device, not so much. And now the smokes are gone. You have Buzz in towards Secret, but how does he want to try and maximize this position? Because you're down a man early. And the unorthodox approach to the outer yard has not exactly been great. CTR dodging the bulk of the utility, spots the bomb. Confirmation that it's headed this way, but Blamaf still going to catch. Timing on the util is great. This is coordination right here. Glaive might get caught, but no, Joel can't zero in the kill. And with that, they're locked out of sight. They're locked out of the round, and it's not even looking like GODSENT necessarily want to do something about this. Plopsky, the only one who was trying to have a fight, and, well, he falters.
They're starting to crumble. GODSENT are definitely starting to crumble. Draken showing everybody watching why Heaven is the standard position, because he's in garage. He can't, despite a missed smoke from Astralis, there's nobody actually to spot the cross. And Buzz going down is enough to pull 2 GODSENT players lower. 2 players lower when they missed a smoke and they were a man down with device dead. That's really quite incredible. And it's a similar story. GODSENT seemingly being presented so much information, but for whatever reasons, it feeds into the system, they make their calculations, and it's just spitting out, you know, it's like an error in code. Just spitting out the wrong result every time. And at what point have they let too much slip? This is already a monster T-side from Astralis.
Satter, forget to it is ancient, Alan. Just pointing that out for no reason.
I mean, Ancient was in Astralis play Ancient. They used to be the best team in the world on T-side Ancient, so all eyes on that if we make it.
Remember a few blame F30 bombs as well. Draken, extremely fortunate not to be punished there, but I'm sure the Astralis players feel much the same way. This whole leaving giant gaps outside to force the fight thing is just spicy. Spicy in rounds. Oh, no. Zipnix is into heaven. They have no idea. They have no idea Zipnix has all this ground already. Eventually, the awareness will come through, but right now, none of the A players are watching for this. If Zipnix just comes over the lip, this is over, realistically. And Rusty getting aggressive, this is going to further whittle away the defense. They've pushed hot. They've pushed hot. They've gone into lobby.
Yeah, but Blame's so aware. He's so aware. Even if he dies here, it's endless information. He now knows that 2 players were tied up fighting him. Zipnix is pushed through heaven. This, if anybody's watching at home, especially if they have their own teams, they want to learn how to play T-side Nuke, watch these 2 Nuke games from Astralis over the last couple of days. They have masterclass at T-side.
Every gun that gets whittled away as well is just punishing. The economy's not in a state where it can bear these kind of losses. They got no money. Got no money. 2 guns might survive here. CTR under pressure. CTR under a whole lot of pressure. Should be fine.
I think Astralis buy either way every round, so they're pretty happy to throw guns to the wind there in aims of just taking down any more players. Timeout in from GODSENT. At what point do they start fighting free towards outer, or giving ramp at the start perhaps and doing that sort of play, or starting someone in secret? There are more options here, and it just seems like even when Astralis are making some mistakes, they're getting players down secret, they're wrapping outer, they're getting players into heaven. If they're ever been contested outer, it tends to be a trade. Only Draken has found clean entries. I think we've got to change something here. This one's just going to be a half buy. Let's keep some eyes on ZTR and Draken. Even on this round, they could justify some outer aggression, I think. Just try and lock down what Astralis are presenting in that area of the map.
Zipnix through quick. They try and accelerate this time, not working out so well. The fast A hit called, and well, that's not going to be the ticket. Down they go. A lifeline extended to GODSENT. Right place, right time they were. And Astralis tried to catch them, lacking off of the time.
I think Astralis expected a buy. I think they expected a buy, and they were having the same mindset of me. Of like, GODSENT are either going to get super aggressive or they're going to play numbers outer because they've got to change something, and maybe A is less defended. I think that's the thought process. Clearly didn't work, but Glaive still punchy with his calling. He's not scared to go for a round like that. Oh my. Okay, Hut this time instead.
Oh, wow. There's no way you expect that twice in a row after the round, after the half that you've had, but still, it's even exchanges. This is viable device. Big find. Draken, what you got? Draken, what you got? The AWP. The dream. Gappy, you know, well to him. They're waiting for him to make the move. Zipnix should know this is a possibility. The no-scope not going to land, and that's a nice bit of maneuvering from Zipnix. 10 rounds on the board. All right, what's our final stinger? Third fast Hut play?
Yeah, let's talk about that call from Glaive, because that is utter... that's one of those calls where you know that every Astralis player has total confidence in Glaive. How many people, after losing a round like the previous, would have said, no way, we're not rushing A again. We just got absolutely mowed down as we came through Squeaky. But they make a slight alteration to have one extra player Hut. That's the only difference. And GODSENT didn't know what hit them. They were not ready for a double call. Astralis already double digits. Best case scenario is 5 for GODSENT. They're playing a very passive start on this round after being blindsided by a fast A on the previous. Here come those outer smokes as Astralis yet again. Takes some control. Check out the call for GODSENT. They're gonna fight. They're gonna really fight this.
Buzz maybe gonna be missing that Molotov, but he still gets his kill. He still gets one. Control outside.
I think GODSENT are aware that
wary.
nobody's crossed.
They know Buzz was the first one out, right? And he's still fighting them, so tends to be an indication. Draken. Wow. Sets himself up for the quick flick, doesn't hit it.
Who's
There's
got the smoke?
not smokes for outside, though.
Yeah,
They've
the
got
smoke's
one.
on Blame. He's all the way in radio.
And even then, you would have massive gaps for the op to exploit, but the ops moved off, so they're not
Yeah,
going to be able to check this.
The only explanation is that Draken assumed they were going to reroute, and it's not the case. Somehow, Astralis, again, have engineered a scenario where they should have been facing an AWP, and they've got down for free.
Joel will find the first. The MP9 put to good effect, good damage, but the bodies aren't going to be there to capitalize. Draken's down to 1 HP. Rosty's the only other survivor, and they might just lose it to the clock. Oh, they're rotating. They're rotating. 4, 3, just in the nick of time. I think this bomb goes down. Not a second to spare. If there's a player Heaven who goes for a peek, it's over. Astralis playing with fire on that one. But now, these flames, they're being extinguished. And bit by bit, Astralis are snuffing out the life of GODSENT. Draken, there's no world where he thinks he can compete for this round, but there's no world where he can do anything but try. 1 HP in a dream. He's not even got the time. Should he find all 4 kills? We're going to go to the half. 11 rounds for Astralis.
my face. Tell me now why you want to wait. Running out of words you wanna say. I've been looking for you, looking for you, looking for you. Take me down, leave me lost and found. Take me down, without a sound. And I will rise, rise, and I will fly, rise,
Back here. Dominant showing for Astralis. It's looking really dang good for the Danes. But GODSENT maybe could find a little bit of form if they could finally win a pistol. What do you think, Alan?
Well, the doctor orders. Plopsky trying to get down the vent. Taking a lot of shrapnel his way for his trouble, but does actually make it on high HP. So, Astralis put on notice. Plenty of noise here from Plopsky, and I guess given all this influence, is the plan really to end A and just let this one player pressure?
I think that was the initial idea. If he draws an over rotation, maybe you exploit. Maybe they get exposed towards Squeaky Door, but that's not going to happen. And so now things stall out. GODSENT holding onto this lobby, controlled. Device pressuring it. Oh, that's a cheeky fight for Device to take.
Player could fly up the vent right now.
Or Device could kill everybody. It's one of those two things. You're going to get the reload off. I think spots the player getting down the ladder. Finally, Device has been checked, but looking for health remaining for these players. Blame F just going to chew through Plopsky. It's disastrous, and Plopsky was the player who dropped, so they've got no control there. Trying to get back in the late vent drop. Oh, ZTR, what do you even do? 45 seconds on this clock. Player lower just to make sure, just in case. And now still on the top of the hut as well. Buzz and Blame F going to be able to finish this one off. 4 out of 4 pistols.
Yeah, 4 out of 4. And surely GODSENT are going to eco, so it's going to be 4 conversions too for Astralis. Couldn't ask for a lot more in terms of the early halves. And Device had a few issues, I guess, early on Inferno, but he is looking like a star player at the moment. He has been a monster on Nuke, and you could see they knew a player was down the vent. It was getting a little bit awkward from Astralis, and Device just says, there's no door here on Squeaky, I'm going to fight through. And he's not scared of a player coming up the vent whatsoever, and that second kill especially was an absolute execution onto the GODSENT squad. Well, we're enjoying this game of whack-a-mole for Blame F.
Blame F is. Nothing Blame F loves more than popping the heads of eco players. He's good at it.
Device is showing up saying, I want to go.
Did someone say ecos? I like to imagine a buddy movie between Device and Blame F where they're just showing each other tips and aim bots, working on their biceps, you know, driving a motorcycle tandem along the beach into sunset. What do you think, Alan? You think I can pitch that?
Potentially, but you need to, of course, the video would have had Dupree and Device in it, so you need to alter it. For the new look, the new age. The D and the B.
Your best friend.
So what we got? Early smokes for GODSENT. but quite a passive default. Plopsky is clearing out to red. He's actually going to get up close to these smokes, but they're going to fade fairly soon, so he needs to kind of commit to a position. The ramp going to be under contest. 2 coming in. Zipnik's on his lonesome, and the MP9 does not do him any good in that duel. Immediately hits the deck. 1 player drops. That's Glaive, and has to leave the A-bomb site unbelievably exposed for the moment. This round should be over. Astralis 4 stacking A. Can't blame them. Lack of information. They don't have the money to throw these guns by the wayside, so they're saying that stack A if they come A, but I've got a fair dinkum chance. If they don't, we'll just save.
It'll take all the seconds, though. Or Rusty. Plant this bomb. Secure things. It's a nice boon for GODSENT, especially, I mean, there's going to be the temptation to hunt, but realistically, they want to try and get away with this as many guns as they can.
Yeah, they should be calling to each other, but the hunt here is not worth it. Not worth it. And Astralis, they cocoon themselves into the CT spawn. Back in the cradle.
Silkworms. Little cocoons. Soon they will be beautiful butterflies. An ancient...
I very much hope the CS2 version of Nuke dispatches of these deep parts of the spawns.
Make it harder to save.
Harder to save, and it plays havoc with the map and the mini-maps, and wherever you look at the map on other programs and stuff. It just adds dead space for no real reason.
It's fair. Yeah, just lop off the ends.
That's the strategy.
Be done.
How's Draken ended up on an MP9?
That's a good question. They survived with 5 in the last, right? Couldn't tell you. They had a scout.
Whoa!
They get rid of the scout, I guess. Here we go. All right, Device.
He was going
Just
for vent.
massacres Draken. That's why he had the MP9, trying to get out quick, trying to find that space, and that did not work out very well for them at all.
I think he was trying to vent dive and just got lost. That's a disaster. Smokes are down. Zipnix has already moved to cover off low. He's actually, so you see Zipnix, he's looking towards control. I think they're a little bit scared that somebody's already dropped in the vent.
That's going to make life a lot easier. Find one on the smoke spam. I believe Blame F tagged him, and then Buzz heard the tag. Gets the kill as a result. Blame F just spotted one. Can adjust his angle for this fight. Doesn't catch Joel. Joel's got him. This might open up some doubts. Again, Device has to move so far back onto the ramp rope to adjust this fight, but if they come his way, he's going to be prepped. And indeed he is. Coming out on top of that one, low on HP. Wants to back off, but he's given his team a 4v2. And there's only 40 seconds left. That's also a key piece here. Time is going to become a huge pressure. Got mollies, a smoke, and a flash to try and get this bomb down, but in the meantime, looking for a fight. They are going to take it towards lower. It seems 25 seconds. This has to be the play. You don't get a second read with this time, kind of time on the clock. Molotov comes in towards Rat Hole. Device is done for. They got to deal with Zephyx first. They've committed both mollies. They committed both mollies. Oh no. Oh no. Do they realize Device is still here? They have an inkling, but they don't have an easy way to clear him out. And now Device starts spamming it. They're just going to try and keep this bomb from getting planted. Indeed, it's a round for Astralis. Do you think that's a comm error that both mollies come out for the one spot?
Potentially. I'm not sure they ever would have mollied under the catwalk anyway. They just didn't have time to really muck about. They had to run straight for the site. So I'm not sure it would have made a massive difference. Astralis just played an excellent round. Their reactions are so good on this map. They really understand how to rotate and how to take space, and they took lobby there in the middle and they lost too much control towards outer. They are absolutely fluid on this map. Clearly massive home turf for them. And Plopsky, their little foot gap. No, Blame not spamming, sees the nades, so he knows to go for it then. So there's a bit of information here for Astralis. They know at least one player's got to be down.
Finding contact here, but you can expect Glaive up close. Readjust. Glaive just taking the space as he knows the reloads is coming through, but he still can't capitalize. I like the idea. But Joel reads these positions so very well. That's a nice round for Joel to come alive. Big play. Astralis. Down 2. Look like they want to try and retake some control somewhere on the map. Blameoff has just floated right back in the exact same position. Is he going to expect a third? Well, he will, but Flame wins the engagement. That's a big find. Now we're back into even Stevens. Maybe not on health, but in terms of numbers. And that's a big bit of positioning for ZTR, but Device is on the scene. On the scene with the AWP. Didn't get it on the first phase. Now they know he's here. Rusty dinks him up early.
Save is there. I was a little bit surprised they wanted to fight Device. They should have known that the Zimnix was ever so low on the bottom side of the map, but no harm, no foul. These guns have to be saved because Astralis don't have the cash in reserve. These two guys can drop, so we're pretty decent buy in the following. But beyond that, there isn't all too much to speak of. Joel, big entries. Big entries. Tags up Buzz initially. Molly forces him wide. Glaive feels like he wanted to fight anyway to save his teammate, but hearing the reload, he goes in further, and Joel gets the bullets in the chambers just in time. Finds 2 kills. Okay, buy is in. Not too bad for Astralis, just Buzz has to sack a little. We haven't spoken much about Buzz, but he has had a stellar map. It's been a bit of a sleeper one where he must have just been consistently getting 1 or 2, 1 or 2, 1 or 2 and staying alive. But he's really held his own.
Good to see. Good to see that someone they're counting on for growth. Now what do we got going? What do we have going on here? A little bit of control down secret. A lot of bit of control down secret. 4 players here to be exact. Glaive looking for this, but he's alone. He drops. This could be trouble. And a boost up to find him. To find that fight specifically, Glaive wouldn't be able to back away. Plopsky can't find the kill. But what kind of support is he getting? Zipnex trying to come back in to help him out. Have at least for the moment stalled out GODSENT. It seems like it's just going to be the moment to taking some control towards double doors. Moving in towards control. Trying to pressure this. And with the first rifle falling, now Zipnex is in a really tough spot. Needs some support from his team if he's going to get this. And that's where Rusty activates his alert. Now it's all falling apart. Now it's all coming and tumbling down. Zipnex, what can you find? What more can you do? Oh my goodness. One more kill might make them consider this, but no, they're already 1 foot into the save.
Didn't have the reinforcements. It was a great try by Zipex, but not enough around him. Astralis played a funky round. They gave ramp. They played Device aggressively into Hut at the start. This never really got the window to make good of a lobby clear. Just didn't quite have the information, the confirmation this player's down lower until it was too late. Glaive was playing a passive line. He didn't have a smoke to buy more time. And just couldn't quite adjust to Astralis. So it's not getting out of control yet, but these last few rounds have not been quite as convincing as they started the map, of course. Maybe just a pause just to talk about having an open the next gun round. Might be a good idea. I think surely has to be an eco now.
One would think. One would think. Save through to the next. Keep a little bit of extra money on Device for that AWP. I mean, there's a lot you can still do in this round with just the 2 saved guns. Right? You set up the op maybe early for aggressive outside control or for more aggro, ramp posturing, hot peek. There's a lot of ways to get cheeky with that CT op. Seems like outside's going to be the ticket. Oh, had the opportunity. Couldn't capitalize. Now they've seen the AWP. They're going to shift elsewhere quickly. Off the back of that, space looks like it's going to be taken towards ramp.
Device has preempted it. He's already here.
Oh, no. Joel, you're about to be in for a world of hurt. There's the contact. That's going to draw them into the fight. Joel's found the first. There's the frag, though. Joel's in the corner. They know this. They know this. Device doesn't want to let him out now. But he will be forced to do so. Timely hop from Joel, and he's out. He's escaped. So they shift. They don't expect Buzz in the corner. CTR doesn't clear. That's the bomb. That's the bomb. That's the bomb. Red alert. Red alert. Kill on a Buzz. Keeps things a little insanity, but this is going to get weird. Bombs drop vent. There's nothing lower. There's nothing lower. Plopsky has this space. He knows they've got the B plant coming through.
Looking a lot more comfortable now. Without a kit. Doesn't feel like Astralis going to attempt it into this one. I just don't think there's the time. They're quite a conservative team anyway, so no surprises. But GODSENT, they very nearly almost lost this round. I think if Device kills Plopsky from the off, with that slight chance for the outer smokes bloomed, maybe they've already won the round. That ramp engagement wasn't good for GODSENT. Going out of Squeaky, Buzz almost got a 2k as he picked up the AK off the ground. And he was spamming vent as Draken dropped with the bomb. There were a lot of moments of jeopardy in there, and got to be some sweat on the brow of the GODSENT players.
Buckets. Buckets as they continue to try and climb back into this one. We're going to have the investment here. Seems like it is indeed going to be a lot bet on this round.
Glaive's had a rough day in the office so far. He called an excellent T-side, can't take it away from him, but as an individual, we do expect to have more, so see if he gets engaged in these last few rounds.
He's just trying to get in the backpack, you know? CTR's down, but he did make noise. There was spam coming through from the top side, so I don't know if this was heard. But he panicked a little bit, let go of the shift key on the ladder, afraid he was getting spammed down, and look at Device. So aggressive, and he misses the shot. He misses the shot. You don't get a lot of opportunities when you're that far forward. And he'll
very lucky. No, there's nobody. If there's anybody top silo, he would have been a dead man. Is Glaive or Blame? He is on the roof.
He is on the roof. It's gonna work. It's gonna work too. So there's the opener they were looking for. It's very cheeky, but it works out. That's the bomb. Rusty can't die here. What does he want to do? Does he want to go down or stay up? Seems like up is going to be the ticket, but now the reinforcements are here. You've got Device in towards heaven, tagged up. You got a player Mustang. Device strikes. How is Rusty still finding these kills? My goodness. How is he alive? He shouldn't have survived to this point, and Draken dropping is going to make this tough. They need to plant this bomb. This is the moment. Molotov will give them the space to do so, but this post plant is going to be tough. Oh, the initiative taken by ZTR. BlameF never expected that. Ever the aware player, this time caught with his pants down. And the clutch minister is going to have to step to the forefront once more. But he's got his mind out the door, and he's gone.
I thought he was going to go for that. That's not the Zipex we're here for. That's no minister of mine.
Not the man of your...
What a streak of entries from Rusty. Glaive continues to have not his best showing. And something to note for those that have, you know, not been watching Astralis for too long is Glaive is infamous for being the outer rifler. It was his absolute hallmark position on this map back in the day when Astralis were at their peak. And he swapped with Blame. Now he's playing what we'd probably call the door player or the inner rotator, whatever you want to call it. He's normally tasked with locking down door, and he has lost a lot of engagements. He let Rusty slip in that time.
A lot of investment in this round, all things considered. Buzz wants to take the initiative in Hut. Don't believe he spotted that. Flashbang is good, but the shot's not. Buzz clearing a little too deep, not finding the player right in front of his face.
Yeah, he kind of swung in anti, didn't he? Not to catch the flash, and it meant he didn't really clear the spot all too well. Plopsky? Popsky?
Well, all right. In his defense, I will say they haven't played much Deep Garage on the Astralis side, but that is still a little bit of an assumption. And you know what happens when you make assumptions, Alan? You die to devices up. Joel comes out the hut. Now Device is in position. He's actually come down as well. Committed into the angle. Committed into the fight. This would be a heck of a way. Find around. They know. They've got confirmation. The alt might go for a little look-see now. A little look-see-loo. And just in the nick of time as well. Joel can't escape. He gets caught. So now they're trying to come through the door. The op is everywhere. Device is just enforcing his will upon this site. One more bullet in the gun. One more kill found. Gonna have to reload there. 4 kills on to Device. Bring the ace. No, Glaive will snatch one of his own. That's how we find map point for Astralis. An op and just pistols to set Device up for kill after kill after kill.
10-round magazine, and I think we've got an ace there for Device.
Yeah.
Thwarts him right at the end. He'll be a little bit frustrated, but it was still a monster round, proactive as ever. On the move, Zipex double AWP. The Zipex AWP is not a common feature of Astralis over the years. And I guess he's playing ramp. Is that the plan? Let's have a look. Yes, indeed.
Blame out. Oh my goodness, Blame. He's gonna get dug out, but he's done a ton of damage. He's got information that there's 2 more. He spotted the bomb as well. I mean, this is just a full play. Zipnex finding one with the AWP. Now it's all falling apart. It's all coming apart at the seams for GODSENT. They made a run back in this second half, but it's looking like it may have reached its destination. Was cleaned up at the sink. Washed away. Rusty and ZTR, where do they want to try and take this? Rusty's loath to break the glass. With Zipnex on the angle. Can't blame him. And that's exactly why. First kill found. Zipnex trying for the second. Bomb's going to be planted. The rotations are on here. Device a little late into this. Glaive alone for now. Might want to wait for his teammate. And an audio cue there towards the vent. CTR gonna try cheeky angle on top of the cooling tower. Does he get cleared? No, not for the first. Device, the information now. He knows exactly where he's playing from. Though he's still here. And Device is gonna be able to bring it through. Hero of the map. Hero of the last round. And the one to seal the deal here. We will move on to our third map. We will move on to Ancient. That was looking a lot more like the Astralis we had yesterday.
Absolutely. They had a few troubles in a couple of those CT rounds, but outside of that, superlative Counter-Strike. They were brilliant yesterday on Nuke, and today they're just as good. Their T-side is so